Hey guys, the next set on the list for being reviewed is Darkness Ablaze. I feel the most confident in my answer on this one over any other set I've reviewed so far, so I'll just give you a straight answer at the very beginning of the video. This is by far the worst set in the entire Sword and Shield era, but that's a really bold claim, so I'm going to spend the rest of the entire video trying to convince you of why I feel that way. Of course, this video is just my opinion. I am basing it off of data I collected myself, though, data that consists of a total of 45 Darkness Ablaze booster boxes, which is the equivalent of 1,620 booster packs. Unfortunately, I didn't open all those booster boxes myself. I don't have the funding for that. Instead, I sat through hours and hours of different YouTubers opening one single booster box at a time, counting every single hit they got in it manually. Not at all a fun way to be collecting data, but I felt it was very necessary because a large YouTuber who is known for collecting Pokemon pull rate data, specifically on modern stuff, Danny Phantom, I found a few days ago a video of his where he compiled all of his pull rate data, including the sets that I've been working on, and for some reason, his numbers were quite a bit different than mine. I have no idea what's going on with that, so I'll just show his numbers versus my numbers on screen. I've only collected data for the first 3 Sword and Shield sets because that's all I've made videos on so far, so we'll be ignoring the rest of the sets for now. So if you just look at Rebel Clash, our numbers aren't that far off, but it's still way further off than I'd expect it to be, considering that both of us have well over 1,000 pack sample sizes. But then when you look at base set, there is no chance that the numbers could be this drastically different with these kinds of sample sizes. Something definitely went wrong either on my part or his part, especially because this trend continues into Darkness Ablaze. So the only thing I can really think of as far as why our numbers are so different is if maybe Pokemon does different pull rates on each print wave. Maybe they start off with the first booster box print wave having a higher pull rate because they want to hype the set up, and then the second wave of booster boxes has horrible pull rates, or I mean not horrible, but slightly lower. I don't think this is a miscounting issue, though, because if we do some simple math here and take my total pull rates divided by Danny Phantom's, that gives us a percentage of how often I would have had to have counted wrong. So this is 9.7%, which is basically 10%. 10% of 2,160. We'll round down because it was only 9.7%. So it's about 200. That means I would have had to have miscounted 200 booster packs in order for our numbers to be this off. But anyway, Darkness Ablaze is supposed to be the topic of this video, and I said that this was the worst set of the entire era, so I think it would be appropriate to start off with some negatives. The value of this set is so low that it's less than half of the second lowest set, base set. And I'm actually just now noticing that the value of Darkness Ablaze, the entirety of the set, all the cards $3 and up anyway, is less than what it costs to buy a single booster box of Darkness Ablaze. That's pathetic. The reason its value is so low, though, is because this set has a Charizard VMAX worth about $40, and literally everything else in the entire set is worthless. A lot of people like to compare that about Darkness Ablaze to Vivid Voltage, but not only is the Pikachu in Vivid Voltage worth nearly 5 times as much as the Charizard from Darkness Ablaze, but Vivid Voltage then, I believe, has 5 cards past the Pikachu that are $10 or more in value. And even if you still want to say that they're built the same way, then you at least have to admit that Vivid Voltage is built about 3 times better since the set value is 3 times higher than Darkness Ablaze's. On top of having the lowest value in the era, whether you want to go with my numbers or Danny Phantom's numbers, Darkness Ablaze also has the lowest pull rates of any set in the era. While that is a terrible combination no matter the situation, Darkness Ablaze at the very least has higher than average VMAX pull rates, which Normally, that's not a good thing because VMAX cards typically aren't worth very much, but in Darkness Ablaze's case, the Charizard that you want is a VMAX, so having higher than average VMAX pull rates is a very good thing. But the cheapest listing on all of eBay right now for Darkness Ablaze is $125. You would need to get 3 Charizards to almost break even. You wouldn't even break even. You'd come close. Out of all 45 booster box openings I saw, I never saw a single person pull 2 Charizard VMAXs in a single box. There were plenty of boxes where somebody got 2 VMAXs, but they were random VMAXs because there's a lot of VMAXs in the set. I think your chance of getting 3 Charizards out of one box is literally lower than your chances of winning the lottery. So normally in these videos, I like to take turns between going between positives and negatives, but really the only positive I could think of for Darkness Ablaze is that it's got a higher than average VMAX pull rate and its #1 card is a VMAX. Other than that, I think I only have negatives on this set. So I guess we'll just get into the next issue then, which is Darkness Ablaze doesn't have any extras in it. And by that I mean stuff like Amazing Rares, Trainer Galleries, Radiant cards, and most importantly, by far, alternate arts. These videos are specifically made to compare Sword and Shield era sets to one another, so anything that's in this era is fair game as a comparison. So now that I brought up alternate arts, I'd like to get across the point of just how important they are in this era specifically. Battle Styles might just be the most hated set in the entire era, and yet it has alternate arts. Because of that, it is above literally every single set in the era that doesn't have alternate arts. But to go further and push the point of just how bad of a set Darkness Ablaze is, if you wanted to make a super simplified tier list with A tier being all sets that have alternate arts, B tier being all sets that don't have alternate arts, Darkness Ablaze would be C tier below that, because in B tier is Vivid Voltage, which has a single card, the Pikachu, which is worth more than the entire set of Darkness Ablaze. I mean, yeah, you could compare Evolving Skies, which has like 4 or 5 cards that are all worth more than the entire set list of Darkness Ablaze, but the point I was making is Vivid Voltage doesn't even have alternate arts, and it can do that too. Even without reviewing the rest of the Sword and Shield era sets, I can easily, confidently say that Darkness Ablaze is the worst set of the era. As a collector, you can spend $125 to buy a Darkness Ablaze booster box off of eBay, and you will probably get about $13 of value in cards. Or you can spend $123 and buy the entire set in single individual cards. As an investor, do I think that Darkness Ablaze is going to go up in price? I mean, the pack artworks have Charizard on them. The box itself has Charizard on it. Most likely, yeah, but I would say that this is going to do something similar to a set such as Steam Siege. That set is terrible. Everyone hates it. It's over 6 years old and it's only maybe doubled in value, whereas another set that's 6 years old, Evolutions, has gone from, I think it was as low as like $80 all the way up to currently selling for $700. Why wouldn't you pick something like that over Darkness Ablaze? So really, as an investor, which this is not financial advice by the way, I see Darkness Ablaze, yes, going up in value. However, I see it being more than likely the slowest growth out of every single set in the era. It will probably be one of the earliest sets to start going up because it's one of the earliest sets that was made, so it's going to be done with its reprints before most of the other sets are. But as soon as those newer sets also stop getting reprinted, I see them very quickly catching up in price to Darkness Ablaze and then surpassing it and never looking back. In terms of what I own for Darkness Ablaze, I have 1 sealed booster box and then I have 36 opened packs. Those 36 packs came from a sealed booster box. I opened them and tried to sell them as singles, and I have never once successfully sold a single pack of Darkness Ablaze. I think most people realize how bad of a set it is. I do have a couple ETBs, but I think as far as Elite Trainer boxes go, it doesn't really matter what's in the set. It more so matters what the artwork of the box is, because people are a lot more likely to keep these sealed just because they don't have that many packs in them compared to a booster box. Booster boxes are mostly for opening rather than displaying. These are more so for displaying. In terms of the design of the Darkness Ablaze ETB, I'm not sure how popular Eternatus is, but at the very least, the contrasting colors, the blue with the red, looks really cool. And I think a lot of people agree with that because the prices of these ETBs used to go for over 100 before a reprint happened. So I guess in terms of investment, I would actually sort of recommend Darkness Ablaze ETBs. They both look cool, and we have previous sales data showing that they did indeed go up. They didn't go up because this is a good set. They went up because people like the artwork of the box, though. And the last thing I'll mention is just entirely my opinion about the artworks of the entire set list. After looking through it, I could really only find 4 cards that I was like, those are kind of cool. And everything else in the entire set, I really wasn't interested in. And honestly, the Charizard VMAX isn't even one of the 4 artworks that I'm liking. I mean, he's literally just standing in place as a VMAX. That's so boring. That definitely doesn't make me want to buy a set when the #1 card in the set and the only valuable card in the set isn't even appealing to me. So that sums up my feelings on Darkness Ablaze. It's both a terrible set to collect and invest in, aside from the ETB. But let me know how you feel about this set. Do you completely disagree? Is this your favorite set to collect? Did you heavily invest in this set and so you're very angry to hear me say all these negative things about it? Let me know in the comments. And while you're down there, don't forget to like the video. And if you want to see my future set list reviews, make sure you subscribe. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.